Moment 1. Biography of Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe was an American writer, poet, critic, and journalist, considered one of the most important and unique figures in his country's literature and universal literature. He was born in Boston, Massachusetts on January 19, 1809. Following the death of his biological parents, he was adopted by the Allan family in Richmond, Virginia, from whom he took his middle name. His life was marked by tragedy, poverty, and a constant struggle with personal problems, elements often reflected in his dark and introspective work. Despite a short and turbulent life, his influence on literature is incalculable. He died in Baltimore, Maryland on October 7, 1849, under mysterious circumstances in this moment. Works and literary context. Most relevant works. His notable works are poetry, The Raven, his most famous poem, which brought him great recognition, and Annabel Lee. Narratives, short stories, The Black Cat, The Telltale Heart, The Murders in the Rue Morgue, considered the first detective story, The Fall of the House of Usher, and The Pit and the Pendulum. Literary movements. He belonged to Babylon. Poe is primarily associated with American Romanticism, particularly the strand known as Dark Romanticism or American Gothic. This branch of Romanticism focuses on the irrational, the supernatural, the dark side of the human psyche, fate, madness, and death. Most used literary genres. Although he ventured into literary criticism and essays, his most influential and frequently used genres were horror and gothic short story, exploring psychological fear, claustrophobia, and dyslexia. Lyric poetry, characterized by musicality, melancholy, and reflection on beauty and death. Detective fiction or mystery. He is recognized as the creator of the modern detective genre with his character Augustus Dupin. Literary period in which he is located. His work is situated within Romanticism, specifically during the first half of the century. Through his Gothic and horror stories, he is considered a transitional figure and precursor to French symbolism, decadentism, and modern mystery and horror literature. Analysis of the work The Raven. The central theme is endless devotion and the loss of the beloved Lenore, which leads to tormenting anguish, despair, and ultimately the protagonist's descent into madness. It revolves around the angst and inexorable fate and the inability to forget the pain. Protagonist. The narrator, the lover, human protagonist. A scholar, whose name is not mentioned, who is alone and grieved over the recent death of his beloved, Leonard. Initially weak and weary, he suffers a psychological torment that leads him from curiosity to hysteria and madness as he interacts with the raven. The raven, animal and symbolic protagonist. A black, ominous bird that bursts into the narrator's room and perches on a bust of Pallas Athena. Its only answer to all the narrator's questions is the word nevermore. It is a symbol of bad luck, death, perpetual mourning, or perhaps the demonic or prophetic embodiment of despair. Conflicts. Internal psychological conflict. This main conflict is found in the narrator's mind between the desire to remember Lenore and the desire to forget the pain of her loss. This battle wraps him between reason and madness and centered by the raven's response that deny any hope of a reunion. The narrator even seems to find a perverse pleasure in focusing on his suffering. Existential conflict, the struggle against inexorable death, and the absence of solace of reunion with his beloved. The raven, with its single word, declares that death is total and final. Poetic structure and composition. Poetic structure. The poem is composed